Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the news from Saba Satellite Channel from Marib. Let's begin with the headlines.
Marib buries soldiers killed fighting Houthi militia.
United Nations condemns Houthi arbitrary detention of additional United Nations staff in Yemen.
GCC welcomes U.S. decision to lift CISA sanctions on Syria.
Welcome back and to the details. Several Yemeni armed forces soldiers were laid to rest on Saturday in Marib Governorate after being killed while defending the Republic and national gains against the Iran-backed Houthi militia. An official funeral was held for the fallen troops from the 3rd Military Region and the Mar Axis, whose coffins were dropped in the national flag and escorted by a military honor guard to the Martyrs Cemetery.
The ceremony was attended by senior military and local officials, tribal leaders, and the families of the martyrs. Officials praised the soldiers' sacrifices in the battle to restore state institutions, while mourners pledged to continue the path until the state is fully restored.
The United Nations has strongly condemned the arbitrary detention by the Houthi militia of 10 additional United Nations staff members, bringing the total number of detained of United Nations personnel in Yemen to 69. In a statement, that United Nations said the detentions have made the delivery of humanitarian assistance in Houthi-controlled areas unsustainable, directly affecting millions of people in need.
The UN Secretary General called for the immediate and unconditional release of all arbitrarily detained UN staff and aid workers, urging respect for international law, UN privileges and immunities essential for humanitarian operations.
I will start off with a statement on Yemen. The Secretary General strongly condemns the arbitrary detention on December 18th of a further 10 United Nations personnel by the Houthi de facto authorities, bringing the total number of detained UN staff to 69. These detentions render the delivery of humanitarian assistance in Houthi-controlled areas untenable. This directly affects millions of people in need and limits their access to life-saving assistance. The Secretary General calls for the immediate and unconditional release of all arbitrarily detained personnel from the United Nations, but also from non-governmental organizations, from civil society, and from diplomatic missions. Mr. Guterres calls on the Houthis to rescind the referral of UN personnel for prosecution. He further calls for the respect of international law, including the privileges and immunities of the United Nations and its personnel, which are essential to enabling humanitarian action in a secure and principled environment. The Secretary General and the UN will continue our sustained efforts with member states with the Security Council, as well as through direct engagement with the Houthis to secure the release of all detained UN colleagues. Mr. Guterres stands in solidarity with the affected families of those detained and the communities in Yemen.
The Council of Arab Ministers of Social Affairs has approved in its 45th session in Amman 4 key issues related to Yemen for inclusion on the agenda of the upcoming Arab Summit, scheduled to be held in Saudi Arabia.
The approved items include Yemen's National Social Protection Framework, a comprehensive child protection plan, support for youth and community initiatives to strengthen social peace, and the inclusion of Yemen among the strategic priorities of the Arab strategy to combat multidimensional poverty.
The Council also unanimously endorsed a decision supporting autism and juvenile care centers to be funded by the Arab Social Development Fund, highlighting confidence in Yemen's social programs.
Sayoun University in Hadramaut has officially joined the Mediterranean Universities Union, one of the leading regional academic networks linking universities across the Mediterranean and neighboring regions. The membership marks a significant step in strengthening the university's international academic presence, advancing a strategy to internationalize higher education.
University President Professor Dr. Muhammad Al-Kathiri said the move opens new horizons for cooperation in scientific research, capacity building, quality assurance, and student and faculty exchange, while expanding access to joint and internationally funded projects. He added that joint UNIMED, while enhancing academic performance and contribute positively to sustainable development and the university's global standing.
The Gulf Cooperation Council has welcomed the United States' decision to lift sanctions on Syria under the CESA Act, describing the move as a positive development toward restoring stability. In a statement, the GCC Secretary General said the decision would help improve humanitarian and economic conditions in Syria and create a more favorable environment for economic recovery and regional and international cooperation.
The GCC reaffirmed its firm support for Syria's unity, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, and its commitment to standing by the Syrian people in their aspirations for security, stability, and sustainable development.
Medical sources in the Gaza Strip say the death toll from the ongoing Israeli offensive, which began on October 7, 2023, has risen to 70,925 people, with 171,185 others injured. The majority of them are women and children.
The sources said that 13 bodies were received by Gaza hospitals over past 24 hours, including 6 newly killed victims and 7 bodies recovered from under the rubble, along with 20 new injuries. Since the ceasefire agreement of October 11, medical officials reported 401 deaths, 1,108 injuries, and the recovery of 641 bodies amid continued difficulties faced by the rescue and medical teams.
For continuous updates, stay with the Saba Satellite Channel. Thank you for watching and have a good time.
Have a good time.